can I make a game in only 30 minutes? First, I have two rules. I'm allowed to use pre-made assets because making 3D models would be impossible within this time frame. And I'm also allowed to copy and paste code from my previous project. That's mostly because I often forget how to program simple systems, so I'll have my GitHub page open. I want to make a game where the player has to walk to this door, but there's an enemy behind the player and it only moves when the player turns his back to it. Oh, and you can't walk backwards to make it actually hard. As you can see, I have an empty Godot project set up, I have this timer, I have the Godot documentation for a node I want to use, which I didn't use because it was pretty straightforward, and I also have my GitHub. So, I started by making a 3D scene, then I realized I forgot to start the timer, so basically I cheated, and I had +2 seconds to make a game. We'll add it to the time later. I added a plain mesh and made it big. Then I created a folder for all the models I wanted to use from one of my previous unfinished projects. Fuck, I imported it to the wrong folder, so I have to delete it and import it again. Geez, I wasted so much time. Then I added a wood texture to the material. I set up my player, copying the movement script from the game I'm working on, called The Mines of Balan. I mapped the buttons, set up a collider for my mesh, and as you can see, we can now move around in first person. But it's a bit dark, so I added a light to the scene. After I finished designing my minimalist room, I added this enemy. I modeled him a few weeks ago. He's a one-legged man who used to chase me in my nightmares when I was a little kid. And yeah, that's his leg, not his penis. I added a quick game over scene. When the guy catches us, we will switch to this scene so the player will know that he lost. Then I added a door model I made. When the player reaches the door, he will win the game. I also deleted the S key so you can't go backwards, forcing you to look away from the monster if you want to advance. I added a pathfinding region to the room, then set up a pathfinding system for the monster. I had some trouble setting it up, so I had to look at my code from one of my previous games where I used a pathfinding system. I even made a tutorial about it. As you can see, the guy now follows me. But I only want him to follow me when I'm not looking at him. That's when I had to use this node called Visibility on Screen Enabler, which basically can give a signal when it's rendered in the camera. So I connected the signals in my monster script, but it's not working because apparently this node only works on the Vulkan renderer, so I had to switch the project to Vulkan. Great, it's working now. Or maybe not. What the fuck? Oh, I forgot to set his velocity back to 0. Oops. So now it's working. I only had 5 minutes to add a win condition, so I had to be fast. That's not a problem, I'm usually very fast, you should ask my ex about it. I quickly added an area 3D to the door, then made a victory screen. I also added an area 3D to the monster, so you can actually get to the game over screen if he reaches you. I spent the final minute trying to balance the speed of a monster, so it's not too easy, but not too hard either. I adjusted the speed for one last time, but I didn't have time to test it, so I had no idea if the game was actually winnable or not. I finished the game in 29 minutes and 55 seconds. 57 if you add those 2 seconds from the beginning. Luckily, the game is indeed winnable, but it's quite hard. If I upload the game to itch.io, then it will be in the description, but I'm not sure if I want to upload it. It doesn't even have audio. But anyway, I proved that it's possible to make a horror game in 30 minutes, even if it's a piece of shit. If you liked the video, please subscribe to the channel. Bye.